So today I want to show you a fun technique you can try to create huge distorted lead sounds or even a monster bass. As always, I added also the ideas from this video to the PDF of tips and tricks I keep on updating. It's available on my Patreon together with the project file from this video and for many other videos. For now, all I have here is a sine wave with a polymer that I can play with my keyboard. And as you can see, we will work in the effects grid, and the idea here is to process this sine wave through multiple instances of processing modules in serial, stacking the effect on top of each other. So we will start with the hit module, right, with the hit sort of a distortion, if you will, right? I will just add this here in the chain. And again, we will stack them. So in this case, we will use 4 instances in serial. So we have here 4 and just stack them one after the other, right? Just like this. Right, then I will create here in the effects grid, I will create a macro control and I will map the drive here of hit of all of them together. So I have one control to control them. This I will name hit. Right, so now I can basically, now it's not so loud, but right, I can add so already we have a simple distortion, but to make this more interesting, since hit will depend on the incoming gain of the signal, we can use ring modulation, which is basically amplitude modulation, to add more texture. So under level, we have here AM, RM, right? I'm going to add this before the first hit, set this all the way to the right to ring modulation, and then again, stack this. So I will add before each hit, I will add, right, another ring modulation module, right? So we have them also stacked. And then I will use another oscillator to modulate them in at audio rate. So I will go with a sine wave, right? You can experiment with other modules. This will go to the input of the ring modulation, right? So this will modulate this audio at audio rates, right? Maybe take this an octave down, right? It will also follow the same pitch, detune it a bit in the stereo field. Right, something like this. So now we have a bit more movement. Oh yeah, maybe something like this. And now to this, we will add even more distortion, but with wave folding. And again, I will add 4 of them. Of course, you can experiment with a different number of stacking here, right? I will use 4 wave folders. Also here, I will add a macro controller to control all of them at the same time, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this I will name fold. Right, and now from this, or to this, we need to add just a tiny bit. Right, listen to this. Maybe I will show you it here, right? If I add a lot or too much, right, it becomes just noise. But just a tiny bit works really nicely. And now we will do the same with a low pass filter. So in this case, I will use the silent key. I will take the drive all the way down. No need for key tracking. Cutoff all the way down. Resonance all the way down. In this case, I will use the macro 4. Right, so we have 4 controls already in one modulator. Then I will map once the drive, once the cutoff, it's already named also, and once the resonance. And again, I have 4 copies of this. So now after the mapping and everything, it will be saved, right? So we don't need to map 4 copies. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now the sound will be even fuller. So we need first of all some drive, and then listen to this. Oh, wow. right? And we can add, of course, also some resonance. If you add until it starts to self-oscillate, right, you get this nice ringing sound. Now also here I will use audio rate modulation to modulate the cutoff, but in this case with an LFO modulator. So I will add an LFO and then I will set this to pitch, right? So it will follow the pitch, basically be at audio rates, and then modulate the cutoff. Right, we can even detune this a bit. Maybe just a tiny bit. Now let's start adding some space to this. So we can use the blur device in the post effects, and also here we will use a few in serial. Also here we will stack them. So first of all, in the post effects, what I will do, I will add the chain device, which is this one here. This will allow me to have global mix control. And then I will add inside the chain 4 blurs, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just change the settings here a bit, right? Change the, basically blur is a delay or 2 delays, all pass delays, just like the module in the grid, but here you have this as a device, and you can change the feedback and the delay time. So I'm just making sure they are a bit different from one another, right? Something like this, and now it will sound huge, but again we have the mix control, so we don't need to use this at 100% wet. Right, let me bring the volume up. Now to have more control, after the effects grid, I will add here a filter. I will just use the normal filter device, right? And I have here, again, my MIDI controller, I have here a knob that I can map, and I will map this, I will map this, the cutoff, so I can really play this voice, right? Then after the filter, I will add a delay plus, let's say, again, just to add a bit more space, right? Stereo or ping pong, a bit more highs, a bit less lows, maybe a bit more feedback. And then after this, a huge reverb. I'm going to use the Valhalla Supermassive, which is a free reverb, and it sounds quite amazing. So now it will sound like this. And to make this even more monstrous, we can turn the effects grid to have voice stacking. So I'm going to have 2 voices, right? Which means that now we have 2 copies of this whole chain, and we can make just some adjustments, right? So for example, the voice text spread, I can use it here for the heat, for the fold, right, maybe here for the drive of the filter, right, the drive of the filter, some of the cutoff maybe, some of the resonance, right, I can change things here, for example, the skew of the sine, right, just spread things a bit, maybe also here some of the filters here, right, so now we have 2 copies of this that are a bit different from one another, and it will sound even bigger now. If you add some glide to this, this can also be nice. And of course, we don't have to use just a sine wave here. We can experiment with different sounds, different voices. For example, if I use the phase 1, right, this can change a bit, or maybe the wavetable spread. I have here a few voices that I will jam with. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again so much for watching. Cheers!